Hello, Huples Cat back again. So I'm reviewing Wikipedia's page on prepping, which is actually a page on survivalism, and this is kind of like part 2, sort of. And what I'm going to do with this part is actually talk about what they claim are the types of prepper, survivalist. So it's kind of interesting. So hold on tight, this will be fast, very fast. Safety preparedness orientated. While these people accept the long-term viability of Western civilization, they learn principles and techniques needed for surviving life-threatening situations that can occur any time or any place. They prepare for such calamities as structural fires, dog attacks, LA Prepper, physical confrontations, snake bites, lightning strikes, car breakdowns, third world travel problems, diarrhea, terrorism, bear encounters, flash floods, home invasions and train wrecks. A good book recommended to me by Pepper Potpourri. We'll do this at some point, it's a good book. Wilderness survival emphasis. This has got obvious implications in prepping. Stay alive for indefinite periods in life-threatening wilderness scenarios, including plane crashes, shipwrecks and being lost in the woods. Concerns are thirst, hunger, climate, terrain, health, stress and fear. And bears. The self-defense driven. Now this is a large subset. This group focuses on surviving brief encounters of violent activity, which include personal protection and its legal ramifications, danger awareness. John Boyd's cycle, also known as the OODA loop. Observe, orientate, decide and act. I don't use that one myself. I prefer the other version of it, the stop, think and all the rest of it. Martial arts, self-defense tactics and tools, both lethal and non-lethal. Do you own a tactical pen? I do not. Self-defense group. So all these can bleed into the others, right? But these are just the main groups they picked out of survivalists. Natural disaster brief. This group consists of people who live in tornado, hurricane, flood, wildfire, earthquake or heavy snowfall prone areas and want to be prepared as much as possible for emergencies. They invest in material for fortifying structures and tools for rebuilding and constructing temporary shelters. While assuming the long-term continuity of society, they may also invest in a custom-built shelter, food, water, medicine and enough supplies to get by until contact with the rest of the world resumes following a natural emergency. This is your classic earthquake prepper, right? Natural disaster prolonged. Oh, so wilderness preppers will have books like this. There's also bleed through. I'm looking forward to this. I really want to get into weather reading. I think that's a good skill. So natural disaster prolonged. This group is concerned with the weather cycles of 2 to 10 year cycles that have happened historically and will happen again and will cause crop failures. They might stock several tons of food per member of the family and have a strong greenhouse and canned non-hybrid seeds, heirloom seeds. You read stuff like this, and a lot of liberals do in Canada, and don't prepare for a world without clean water supply. You're a bit daft. Natural disaster, indefinite, multi-generational. Yeah, anyway, society's going to end. Humans will probably end. There'll be lots of different ways of looking at this. So the global warming scenario is probably the most scientifically relevant right now. Global cooling is not that much scientifically relevant. Environmental degradation is totally scientifically relevant. Warming or cooling of the Gulf Stream waters, we have no idea what will happen there. A period of severely cold winters caused by a supervolcano, an asteroid strike or large-scale nuclear proliferation. Guy McPherson, peak oil, and then went on to human extinction by 2026. Another book on this sort of an issue would be this one. The oldies will recognise it just from the picture, the illustration. A lady called Rachel Carson wrote Silent Spring. Thanks to her and the movement she started, They stopped squirting pesticides all over America and Canada and elsewhere, allowing the American eagle to actually not become extinct, because pesticides were making the eggshells very thin. What we do, it reflects who we are, and that's the truth. Biochemical scenario, SARS, pandemic, rabies, hantavirus, weaponized natural. This could also be nuclear, biological, chemical, sarin gas, that sort of toxins and stuff like that. They tend to have a lot of gear, NBC, mass, all the rest of it. Malthusian. Malthus has never really gone away. Malthus was a Victorian, and an English Victorian, and so he wrote a book, several books, talked about various things. He basically said that above a certain number of human beings, all of us would die because there wouldn't be enough food. And we've pushed off the Malthusian collapse by technology and luck. But some people still believe that our population, 7.8 billion, rising up to 10 to 11 billion, will absolutely by itself destroy us, either economically or by starvation. Now this is a huge subset. Every time I type in preppers in the search engine of YouTube, there's so many of these videos and they're so stupid. And they have so many people looking at them. Yeah, the monetary disaster investor. Okay, so they believe the Federal Reserve System is inherently flawed. Most cash is fiat currency. The only real currency is gold and silver and ammunition. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I mean, you want to believe that, that's fine. So far you've been dead wrong throughout the 20th and the 21st century, but you know, you might be right. But you're going to invest? I mean, a lot of these guys have gold and silver invested virtually. I don't know. Anyway, every year they say the same thing. The coming economic collapse in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. And yet people buy this. They keep clicking, buying stuff, buying books on this. There's various ways to become economically stable, and selling all your worldly possessions and getting rid of all your bank accounts and in retirement savings and buying lumps of gold is probably not the way to do it. Now the other common subset of preppers is the biblical eschatologist. Said that wrong. End times people. End times people are fascinating to me. Because they have this certainty that Jesus Christ existed and there is a God and the God's Christian. No hesitation at all. They cannot believe that Muhammad's true, or Allah's true, or Buddha was true. Or if they are true, they can't believe that they actually created the place. It had to be this God who then created various other things. So I find as an atheist, the certainty of Christianity and Muslim to be really troublesome. But you know, belief's belief. But here we get into the interesting thing. So end times people, you can believe in the end times, but but the gamut of the end times is great. Rapture before tribulation, rapture during tribulation, rapture after tribulation. They can't agree. It's that unclear. They also believe in complete pacifism, to being completely aggressively military, depending on which tenet of the particular interpretation, usually by a male, of the male Bible that they actually believe. And a lot of them have no food at all, no supplies at all, because they expect to be raptured to heaven as a believer. Which frankly I think is the most sensible belief as a Christian, if you actually believe in that, if you believe in the end times. Why would you have to do anything to protect yourself? If you believe strongly in Jesus in the end times, you're going to go to heaven. But a lot of the others will actually have decades and decades worth of food. So they're kind of a strange bunch. I have clicked on a few videos. I usually click off them because I'm just going, really? This is like fairy tale to me. But anyway, I get it, people. I'm not attacking your belief in God. I'm just saying from a prepping point of view, I don't think it's got anything to do with it. If heaven exists, why are you frightened of dying? Anyway, and certainly why using guns to kill other human beings if you're a Christian? Don't get that one. Maybe somebody out there wants to explain that to me, and don't quote the Old Testament because that's just nonsense. Alright, peak oil doomers, they still exist, and I'm one of them. Peak oil happened in 2012-2013. The effects of peak oil, the sudden drop in oil amounts and spiraling prices, didn't happen because of fracking. It's been pushed off into the distance. How far off into the distance, nobody knows, because nobody's letting the figures really get out anymore. What we do know, if you fly over America and Canada and large parts of the world, is that fracking is like a cancer virus spreading for miles and miles and miles. So they're certainly getting as much as they can out of the ground to maintain current consumption, that should worry you. So I still think peak oil is a possibility. They classify Rawlsian followers of James Wesley Rawls as actually a subset of preppers. And I think that's possibly true, though obviously as time goes on that becomes less true. He wants you to go to the American Redoubt and starve to death with all these heavily armed preppers if something actually happens. They do believe in a deep ladder approach, like decades of food, so that's a good idea, I think, anyway, if you're going to do this. And they believe in self-sufficiency and homesteading, as do various other ones, and I think that's a good idea as well. Medical-orientated crisis people, that should be me, but it isn't. These people are donating blood and are active in the Red Cross, apparently, and have medical packs in their cars and stuff. Yeah, okay. I'm not quite sure what that's got to do with survivalism, but there you go. Legal continuity, apparently they like books like The Postman by David Brin and lots of other books. I would actually say legal continuity people in prepping would be constitutionalists. They're actually not mentioned, which I find fascinating. Alright, so preppers do various things to get ready. They're the main types of preppers. And I think this is an important point for us to bear in mind. There is a subset of arrogance in prepping, that we say we know what we're doing, we feel comfortable, and we're doing it for years, and we're already... People actually have been online recently and saying, I've prepped enough, I'm okay now, I have enough stuff, I have enough skills. Okay. New age stuff like this. Building fences and gates, always useful. This type of book, this is only like a sample. I believe in hard copies of books, but we're heading towards what I think I am. So one of the interesting things you talk about 2008 and economics, and a guy called Barton Biggs says some stuff. And what he says, is I think it's really fascinating here, is assume the possibility of a breakdown of the civilized infrastructure. Your safe haven must be self-sufficient and capable of growing some kind of food. It should be well stocked with seed, fertilizer, canned food, medicine, clothes, etc. Think Swiss Family Robinson. Even in America and Europe, there could be moments of riot and rebellion when law and order temporarily, completely breaks down. So that's again, the economic stuff has come back from the 60s, it's come back from the 70s, it's come back again. I think we'll see peak oil doomers come back again. It comes in waves. People who are not part of survivalist groups or apolitical orientated religious groups also make preparations for emergency. People dismiss sheeple, zombies, the unawake. I wouldn't dismiss people. People are smarter than you might think. It talks about using non-traditional food for food, like using natural gas and wood fibre to make edible human food. Is anybody out there using wood fibre and natural gas to make food? I'm going to have to look at that one. Kind of interesting. So prepper. Prepper is a synonym for survivalist that came into common use during the early 2000s. Used interchangeably with survivalist as much as retreater was in the 1970s, refers to one who's prepared at making preparations. And I would argue, much as retreater died, survivalist has basically died. What we have now, in a sense, are prepper, homesteader, bushcrafter, and all of them see themselves together. Some people like to see a difference, but I think you can't. The logical endpoint of survivalism or prepperhood is homesteading, and homesteading without bushcrafting skills isn't going to work. So I kind of see that. I see why hikers and outdoor people are gravitating into prepping, and I see why preppers are gravitating into hiking. So this is where I want to finish this. How long are we at? This is ridiculous. I'm going to do another video. Au revoir.